Hey guys, Zack here, and welcome to the new year. We are finally in 2025. We are leaving 2024 behind us. I wanted this video out on New Year's Eve, but I'll just be honest, I just kind of forgot, so oops. Granted, it's better late than never, but still, oops on my part. And these yearly highlight videos I've been doing these since like 2018. So I'm not really going to go into too much detail with what to expect, just the usual. This is a podcast type video, so don't expect any like changing visuals in the background. This is more so to have on in the background while you're at the gym or while you're driving or while you're eating. Yeah, so don't expect any like changing visuals in this video. And I will say this too, there might be some things that came out this year that wasn't on my list, and not on my list because I just didn't care or didn't watch them. Like I did not watch the Netflix Jurassic World Chaos Theory or whatever it's called. I don't care. Again, as far as Jurassic Park goes, it's either the first movie or the second movie. Nothing else. Those are the only two movies that mean anything to me. The rest, I don't care at all. And then we got Sonic Movie 3 this year as well, which again, I didn't see it because I don't like the Sonic movies. I think they're kind of garbage. I know I reviewed the first movie when it came out and I said it was great, but no, I'm sorry. I don't think it's a good movie. Like my opinions change, but I digress. So yeah, there are some things that might not make it on my list that you might be hoping for. And if not, then I'm sorry, but I have a okay amount of stuff to talk about on this list. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say, so let's just get right into this. So, first of all, this year was Godzilla's big 70th birthday, which Toho, I think, did an exquisite job celebrating. They announced a lot of new figures, a lot of new projects. They came out with this really cool short film that had, like, Godzilla and Jet Jaguar fighting King Ghidorah. I thought that was really cool. I wish they made new suits for Godzilla and King Ghidorah because they're old, like they're using like the original like GMK and like Godzilla Final War suits for each respective monster. So those are like older movies now. So it would have been nice if they just kind of preserve the suits rather than just continue to use them and just make new suits. But either way, the short film was still cool. I did really like it. A lot of like I said, a lot of new figures and stuff. One more thing I do want to say, even though this was Godzilla's big 70th birthday, I think it was really cool that Toho decided to give Gamera some love, because in the mobile game, Godzilla Battle Line, on Godzilla Day, they announced a collaboration with Gamera, adding Gamera 1967 and Gyaos 1967 to Godzilla Battle Line. I don't play that game, but I still thought that was really cool. Again, it was Godzilla's big 70th birthday, but Toho still thought, let's collaborate with Kadokawa and let's give Gamera some love too, which I think is really cool. So, yeah. At the start of the year, we got Godzilla -1, minus color, which I won't go into too much detail. I reviewed Godzilla -1, so it's just the same movie, but in black and white. It's a cool, like, novelty thing. I don't mind it, but again, just not a whole lot to say there. Later on this year, after minus color, we got Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire, which it's entertaining. I don't really care too much about, like, the newer MonsterVerse stuff that comes out. I think 2014, Kong Skull Island, and even King of the Monsters, I think those are great movies, but I don't know. Like, Godzilla vs. Kong and Godzilla X Kong, like, they're not bad movies, but I don't really love them either. There's that Apple TV show, which, I like, but I don't know, it didn't wow me. And like that new Kong game coming out, and just like a lot of MonsterVerse stuff coming out. Like, I don't know. I'm not super crazy about it. Again, I really like 2014 Kong Skull Island and King of the Monsters, but yeah, a lot of the newer MonsterVerse stuff coming out, I'm just not the biggest fan. Sorry. And that kind of, again, Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, it's an entertaining movie. It's just, not my personal favorite. So, yeah, we got that this year. We got more Gigabash DLC. We have, well, the first DLC pack we got was Wave 2 for Godzilla, which I thought was really cool. You know, it's cool that, you know, they're adding like more DLC, you know, and apparently that DLC did really well. So, yeah, I'm glad that they did something for Godzilla's big 70th birthday this year, you know. I will say, at the time, I was expecting Gamera. We did not get Gamera, but that's okay, you know. King Ghidorah and Hedorah are still great additions to Giga Bash, and they are both very fun to play as. So, yeah, still hoping for Gamera though. I really want Gamera and Giga Bash, and it'd be really cool if they used like his Heisei design specifically from Gamera 3. But still, only time will tell. Speaking of Giga Bash, there's the Mighty DLC, which contained, you know, more original fighters. We had, you know, one fighter that was based on, you know, Super Sentai or Power Rangers, like the mechs, which was really cool, Rojak. And then there's Balzar, I think his name. I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but he's like inspired from like a Manticore from Power Rangers, I think. I'm not familiar with Power Rangers, so forgive me if I'm making mistakes. But yeah, we got two, you know, original fighters, which I think is really cool too. You know, it's cool that they're, you know, expanding their cast as like original monsters go. I think that's great, you know. It'd be cool if we got like a Daimajin inspired monster. I think that'd be really, or fighter. I think that'd be awesome. But I digress. We also had Ultraman Rising DLC for Giga Bash, which is also really cool, you know. The devs for Giga Bash are really passionate about, like, you know, tokusatsu, so like Godzilla and Ultraman and stuff like that. So it is really cool. Like, the passion behind Giga Bash is like probably one of my favorite things about Giga Bash. You know, like, it's an indie team, and they're pulling off collaborations with like Toho and Subaraya Productions to bring us Godzilla and Ultraman in their fighting game. And I think that's really cool. And they really like, they're really into it. You know, like they outright said, even before they announced the Ultraman Rising DLC, you know, the creator of the game was on Twitter saying like, yeah, no, this movie's great. Like, they love it, and it's great. You know, I really like that, you know. And I know they're trying to get Gamera and Giga Bash, and that would be great. You know, they outright said like, yeah, no, we want all of that, you know. Gamera, Evangelion, you know, we want all of that. You know, it's just a matter of not just, you know, being funded enough or like legal, whatever. There's a lot of like technicalities there as far as like, you know, crossover DLC collaborations, especially for an indie company. But still, they're really passionate about the stuff they do, and I think that's great. So yeah, again, hopefully we can get Gamera and Giga Bash next year. You know, this year, 2025. This is Gamera's 60th birthday. The first Gamera movie came out in 1967, or 1965. Sorry. And it would be really cool if we got some Gamera DLC for Giga Bash. I think that would be great. Speaking of Ultraman Rising, we got Ultraman Rising the movie on Netflix this year, and I reviewed it on my channel, so I won't go into too much detail, but in short, I really like it. You know, it's a little different from other Ultraman related stuff, but still, as it is, I think it's a very good movie. If you like Godzilla King of the Monsters, you'll like this movie. I like King of the Monsters, so I think these two go hand in hand. But still, Ultraman Rising, I think, is a very solid movie. Next, we're going to talk about Transformers. This year was the franchise's 40th anniversary, and I'll be honest, I think they could have done a better job. You know, we got a lot of cool figures. We got the Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime, which looks cool. I don't have it, but from what I've seen, it looks really cool. So we've gotten a lot of like figures, and we also got Transformers 1, which I haven't seen yet. I want to eventually, but so far I have not seen Transformers 1. And, you know, like stuff like that. But for the most part, I think Hasbro could have done a little bit of a better job celebrating, you know, one of their, you know, major franchises. You know, it turned 40 this year. I feel like we could have gotten a little more. But I digress. Speaking of anniversaries, my favorite video game of all time, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, turns 30 this year. Again, it is my favorite video game of all time. I absolutely love that game. Specifically Sonic 3 Air. It takes all like the little problems that I had with like the original Sonic 3 and just like fixes it up, and it's perfect. So Sonic 3 and Knuckles turns 30 this year, and I think that's really cool. We also got Sonic X Shadow Generations, which I know IGN and a lot of people were saying, like, oh, this is great. This is like a 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. I wouldn't go that far. I liked it. I thought it was fine and all. Well, Sonic Generations is one of my favorite Sonic games, but the Shadow part of Shadow Generations is, again, it's good. I like it. I'd say it's like B tier level, like high between middle B tier. It's good, but it's not great. There are some things that I would have done differently, but overall, I still am happy with Sonic X Shadow Generations. Um, Going back to anniversaries, Donkey Kong Country, my second favorite video game of all time, turned 30 this year. And again, it's really funny how my two favorite video games of all time turned 30 in the same year. I mentioned that in my Donkey Kong video, but still, it's just a really it's a funny little coincidence. But yeah, and surprisingly, Nintendo has actually been doing something with Donkey Kong, for his 30th anniversary this year, or Donkey Kong Country's 30th anniversary this year, which is kind of surprising because lately Nintendo has been like radio silent as far as like Donkey Kong related stuff. But no, this year, like the later half, they've actually been doing like a whole lot of cool Donkey Kong stuff. Back in June, they announced the Donkey Kong Country theme park in Universal Studios, and that opened up like semi recently as of me recording this video, and I think that's really cool, which I'll talk about more in a second. What else was there? They announced Donkey Kong Country Returns HD for the Nintendo Switch, which I like Donkey Kong Country Returns. I don't like the Tiki Tack things. Again, I'm a big fan of the Kremlings, and I don't really care for those guys, so it is what it is. It's a 10-year-old game, so obviously they're not going to just, that's a lot of work to replace them with Kremlings, but still, that is one thing, but it's still, I do like Donkey Kong Country Returns. And, just a lot of other stuff, which I think is really cool, so it's nice to see Nintendo, kind of pushing Donkey Kong Country. It's great. Yeah, so the Donkey Kong theme park, I don't know when it's going to open up here in the States, but whenever it does, I would absolutely love to see it. I think that'll be great. In Japan, they opened up the Nintendo Museum, and it actually has a lot of Donkey Kong Country stuff in it, too. Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, and even King K. Rool make appearances here, which I think is really cool. So, yeah, I think that's really cool, and I like how Nintendo is, kind of pushing Donkey Kong Country this year. They added those Nintendo Switch Online icons for Donkey Kong Countries 1 and 2, and it's great. I love to see, an original game with the Kremlings. That would be ideal. But as is, this is a nice start. So, yeah. Whether we'll get anything else in 2025 is entirely up to Nintendo, but we'll just have to wait and see. Season 2 of Smiling Friends came out this year. I love Smiling Friends. I think it is a very funny show. And Season 2 dropped, and it's just as, if not more funny than Season 1. It's such a good show. If you haven't seen it yet, please watch it. Smiling Friends is great. Zack and his team did a bang-up job with Season 2. But, yeah. And one last thing I want to talk about as far as this year goes. Not a lot compared to the past few years, but I digress. We finally got to 1,000 subscribers. Guys, you don't know how much this means to me. I know it's small compared to other YouTubers, but still, 1,000 subscribers. I didn't think I'd get this far, I didn't think we'd get this far, but we did. And the only people I have to thank for that are you guys, watching my videos and, everything like that. I really do appreciate it. From the bottom of my heart, I love you guys. So, thank you so much for helping us get to 1,000 subscribers this year. Genuinely, that means a lot to me. So, thank you. I've been doing YouTube for 10 years. It's literally on the exact day my YouTube channel, or when I started doing YouTube, the exact day, November 29th, that's when I hit 1,000 subscribers. And yeah, it's funny how that works, but again, you guys are the best, and I love you all. So, yeah. That's pretty much it for my highlights of 2024. Not a lot compared to the previous years, but still enough to, make a video about. We did get a lot of cool stuff this year, and yeah. So far, as of January 1st, 2025, what does this year hold? Well, for starters, we have Jurassic World Rebirth, which I'm not gonna see. Again, I only like the first two Jurassic Park movies. I only like Jurassic Park and the Lost World. Everything else is just completely irrelevant to me. And even though Gareth Edwards is directing this movie, and even though David Koepp is coming back to write this movie, like, there's a lot of potential here. I just don't care. I don't care because, again, I only like the first two movies, and Rebirth is going to take place after Dominion, which, in case you didn't know, I really don't like Dominion, and yeah, probably not going to see it. Like, if I do see it, I'll probably watch it through totally legal means, but yeah. Jurassic World Rebirth, I don't really care. Walking with Dinosaurs 2. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. Now, let's talk about Prehistoric Planet. Prehistoric Planet, as far as dinosaur documentaries go, huge. Phenomenal CGI, phenomenal music. It's like cinema quality dinosaur documentaries here, with like the first two seasons of Prehistoric Planet. It's great. It is a massive documentary. But the people working on Walking with Dinosaurs 2, because they announced that this year, the people working on Walking with Dinosaurs 2, or whatever they're calling it, they said that this is going to be bigger than Prehistoric Planet. That's some big talk, because Prehistoric Planet on its own was already massive, so the fact that you're saying that Walking with Dinosaurs 2 is going to be even bigger, that's crazy. Absolutely insane. So I'm really looking forward to Walking with Dinosaurs 2. This year is also Gamera's big 60th birthday. I don't think Kadakawa will do a whole lot, unfortunately, because again, they don't really hold Gamera very highly, which is very unfortunate. I love Gamera. A lot of people love Gamera, but Kadakawa, I guess they don't really care that much. They did announce a repaint of Gamera 1990, the SH Monster Arts Gamera 1996, and they are releasing an SH Monster Arts Legion from Gamera 2. That figure's going to be really expensive, but that might be all they do. But I would love to be wrong. I would love, an SH Monster Arts figure of Gamera 1965. I would love more Movie Monster series Gamera figures based on the Showa era, or even Gamera the Brave. I think that'd be really cool if they did stuff like that. I mentioned this earlier, but Gamera DLC for Giga Bash would be incredible. And, even like a short film like they did in 2015, I just wish, Gamera will never be as popular as, like, notable as Godzilla. I can accept that fact. But I wish Kadakawa cared a little more. Give us a little more. Maybe like a short film here and there. Maybe new figures, like I said, the Movie Monster series line or the SH Monster Arts line. Something. A little more would be nice, but I digress. As I mentioned, they announced Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. That'll be coming out in a few weeks, actually. So I am definitely going to be playing that. Again, I love Donkey Kong Country. It's one of my favorite video game series ever. Even though there's only 5 games, I absolutely love those games. And Country Returns, again, I really like the game. I just prefer the Kremlings as far as, like, the main villains go. Like, the Tiki Tack things, I don't care. Genuinely, I don't care. But it is what it is. This is, like, an HD port of an old game, which I guess people are upset about, which I can see where they're coming from, but it's something. It's something. With how radio silent Nintendo has been with Donkey Kong Country lately, it's something that I can grasp and hold on to. Something new. Well, not like new, but like a new port of an old game, I guess. It's something. So I'm not complaining. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And I guess so far the last thing confirmed coming out in 2025, I guess there's going to be a new Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid movie coming out this year. We don't know when, or I don't know when anyway. I don't know what information they released already. All I know is that, it's going to happen this year. If not this year, then next year or something. I don't know. But yeah, again, I don't read the manga, so I have no idea what's going to happen in this movie or what it's going to be about. But, I'll just have to wait and see. So, yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the highlights of 2024 and what to expect in 2025. Thank you so much for spending the year with me, and I can't wait to spend 2025 with you, you know? Again, 1,000 subscribers, that genuinely means a lot to me. So thank you guys again for that. And yeah, so with that said, that's pretty much it for today. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great year, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Zack out.